Nick Lardis rotating back into the Brantford zone, plays it through his own feet. Now the self-chip around Graham. Lardis over the line, works wide onto the right, plays it back. Prods off the bench, backside Thomas. Tick-tock goal! Jake O'Brien in front. That was magical. Prods to Thomas, who turns the silky smooth mitts. Sends it wide of the net. Savozil wrapping it around. Stepping up was Chen. Graham A-framed. Puck stayed onside. O'Brien, he's got Lavoie working to the slot. O'Brien up front scores! Jake O'Brien took that peek over at Zachary Lavoie. He got everybody to buy into it. Here. Found money. Lardis to the middle of the ice for Lavoie. On his backhand. Twisted out front. Lardis, backside O'Brien. Tick-tack, goal! He's usually the playmaker. This time he's the finisher. Jake O'Brien bubbles the lead back to 2.
Here's a chance for O'Brien. Can't tee up the shot. There's a pass right out in front. What a stop by McKenzie! They're calling it a goal, but we'll have to have a look at that one. McKenzie got the paddle down.
Thankfully, though, here we go. As Jake O'Brien will take that long stretch pass, he waits left side of the net. Testa scores. How often have we seen a chance at one end, comes back the other way, and then it's cashed in, as it was a dandy setup from Jake O'Brien. Even better finish from Luca Testa.
Roberts from the left to Schoen with a block. Protz keeps it alive on the right. Protz with a look out front. Brown. Now O'Brien scores! Jake O'Brien roofs it! Bulldogs take their first lead of the game with 7:29 to go. The playmaker turns sniper. Jake O'Brien, left side, Luca Testa steps through Ewens, left circle, Testa, save Lalonde, rebound, scores! Jake O'Brien. It's a nose for the net for the astrophysicist. And it's a 2-2 hockey game.
They'll win the draw. Quick shot, just fired wide of the mark. Courtesy of Roberts. Now tipped in front of the net. They score. A late goal. I believe it was Brown off that high post.
And the puck's going to come right to him. Lets it run past him to O'Brien. Hamra snapping it to the front. They score! Welcome back, Tomas Hamra.
Aiden O'Donnell might get an assist on that.
I think he will. Hamra likely.
Babin, of course.
You're referring to the newest inductee to the Hamilton Sports Hall of Fame in Steve Stamps.
I am exactly referring to that guy.
As Cole Brown has that one trickle wide out front. O'Donnell scores! Aiden O'Donnell! Leaders trying to give the Bulldogs every opportunity to get back into this one. O'Brien, right circle, wanted to leave that off. Got intercepted, Lavoie holds it in. Left circle, Brown stepping inside. His shot, rebound, scores! Big save from Ryerson leaders. Jake O'Brien goes the other way and deposits. 3-1. O'Brien tapping it for Lardis. Over the line, kept everybody on side for Brown. Laid it low. Shanowski stops up. Traffic in back of the net. Thomas out front for Brown. He scores! The adjustment made to the power play. Cole Brown sticking the big frame in front. And it's Brown who comes up with the goal, his 5th of the season.
That power play goal by the Bulldogs in the first, just their second and 38 opportunities on home ice.
Hamra stepping through a stick. Over the line, O'Brien for Lardis, scores! Nick Lardis, the pullback, and he rips it. Lardis will collect his 13th of the season, and it's 2-0 Bulldogs.
That was a reverse announcer curse.
To the goal, plays it down low, pass in front, they score! Patrick Thomas, and it's 2-1 Bulldogs.
And that's a great setup on the power play that time by the Brantford Bulldogs. Starting off with Jake O'Brien. He gets
low. O'Brien scores! What a rip from Jake O'Brien, and a late power play goal gives the Bulldogs a 3-2 lead.
And the power play remains hot for the Brantford Bulldogs again.
Now, the second of the game for Jake O'Brien, and it's goals galore for the Bulldogs. Now it's 5-2.
And Jake O'Brien, who scored one early.
Take over here for the Steelheads. Finn Harding behind the, over to O'Brien, and Jake O'Brien has the hat trick. 6-3 for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, that's right, hat trick for Jake O'Brien. As Luke Mesa tried to feed it back to the point for Finn Harding, the puck was picked.
To the corner boards, nice play on for Patterson. Puck out high, but Lavoie was right there. He'll play it forward on the left side for Brown. Through the middle, O'Brien bats it down, spins on the backhand, and scores! Jake O'Brien, he is white hot right now. Roberts up for Cole Brown. Touched into the offensive zone. O'Brien will sprint after it out front for Zachary Lavoie. Backside, tic-tac goal! Oh, this line for the Bulldogs is really coming together. Jake O'Brien sets it.
Steelheads with a couple shorthanded goals.
Thomas from below the goal line feeds O'Brien. Didn't see what he wanted there. Backside, what a pass! Jake O'Brien manipulating time and space as he goes back door to Patrick Thomas. Ryan collects, works it up the wall. Hamra to the front, played on for Brown. Now O'Brien to Lourdes, he scores! Jake O'Brien with another sizzler of a feed, and upstairs goes Nick Lourdes. It's 99 in the OHL career for the Bulldogs sniper.
Prospects in the Ontario Hockey League, they're going to be Blackhawks.
Hamara keeps the puck in. Set up again for Lourdes. Lourdes, shot saved by Flores. Rebound, he scores! Power play, goal. His second of the afternoon. Lourdes has given the Bulldogs the lead back.
The Bulldogs making their way in. Patrick Thomas out towards the slot. Puck bouncing around. Thomas waits. What a pass. They score. What a play. Finished off by former Pete Nick Lourdes, and that could be enough on this night. It's 4.
O'Brien over the line, right side. Brown whipping it around the back. Comes all the way through to Thomas. For O'Brien. He'll catch it down. Lourdes, right circle, holds up. Plays back to the top. Hamra into the pile. Scores! Tomas Hamra. To Hamra. Bulldogs get set. Hamra's drive. Deflected over the top. Thomas batted it out of the air. O'Brien, Lourdes, save made by Oster, rebound, scores! Jake O'Brien, Bulldogs are back to within one.
Hamra will just back right out. He's playing the left point and will be the closest player to Seneca.
Cole Brown runs the puck back to the point. Prot steps inside on Sinavori, scores! Cole Brown on the doorstep from 3 goals down.
Hamra, the Ottawa pick. Down for O'Brien, the prospect. He'll slide it in. Down low and off, and D'Amato and in. It was an intended pass. Number 2 General D are in the box right now. As Lourdes has got it. Hamra for O'Brien. O'Brien, Hamra scores! 4-goal lead, 4 minutes in. This is the second time this game we've seen a 4-on-3 power play. O'Brien walks in, shoots, and it rolls over the glove of Oster. Brown was on the doorstep. I'm not sure he got a...
By O'Brien. O'Brien drops it back to Lourdes. Lourdes takes the shot, scores! What a shot from Nick Lourdes. That was a bullet.
Gun coming through, a nice little drop pass there by Thomas, and watch Lourdes just hits it.
Pulled up in the left corner and got dropped by Gowan. Jake O'Brien off the wall after Lavoie stepped in. Scores! Wow. Oh my goodness gracious. Jake O'Brien put on the tap shoes. He just walked right through and banked it.
I know I'm supposed to be an analyst and describe what's happening, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to sit back and let You at home.
Ice Dogs have authored 4 shorthanded goals. Lardis coming back with O'Brien. It's a 2-on-1. Lardis will slide one across. Great save by Flores. They score on the rebound. The follow-up was by a sliding Cole. Levin with a shot, and that one hit Robrick out front. And Hamara had to defend Robrick. Lead pass, Avery in, 2-on-1. O'Brien going to the net. Avery, O'Brien, they score! Well, that's transition at its finest, and it's 3-2.
And
Nice going to escape himself into neutral ice.
Get going here.
Vidicek over the line, tried to work through 2, got on to Thomas. Backside, Brown steps down, backhand, save made by Luan, they score!
No goal.
Oh boy, we had this happen last year. Bouncing off of Merrick Van Acker, now Owen Protz wants to get up in the play. 3 wide, Protz to O'Brien, they score shorthanded! It got in before the buzzer sounded. They may take another look to be sure.
Well, we've seen just about a little of everything in this game. The Bulldogs scoring with a 5-minute major, scoring on the power play, scoring shorthanded.
Oh yeah, that's in. Offensive zone. O'Brien to challenge Graham McCauley. And O'Brien steals the puck down low. Spins it out front for Avery. Scores! Jake O'Brien! How in the world? Away from McGregor Richmond. Plays off for Protz. Off of a leg. That was Witkowski's block. Now Lucas Moore for the tip. They score! He sets one and scores the next. Jake O'Brien, brilliant off the heel of his stick. Hamara pulls wide. To O'Brien at center red. He'll flash it wide. Thomas handles it down. Backside Cole Brown. His drive, save, rebound. O'Brien scores. It's 3 points on the night for Jake O'Brien. He'll double dip.
Donham, he's squeezed on the wall. Lardis gets it at the left point, top of the circle. Down to O'Brien. O'Brien cross crease, scores! Off of a skating in. It'll go to Jake O'Brien, and a power play goal gives the Bulldogs a 1-0 lead. Ball going into the first break. They win the face-off, a bouncer to the line. Hamura kept it in, floated to the net, off the post, they score! Cleaned up in front by Patrick Thomas. Now Crombie carrying it ahead. Stretching to stay onside was Van Acker. Good job out in front, scores! Quick reply as Jake O'Brien's got another one, and the Bulldogs are back up by 2. A tournament is happening where you'll find a ton of the best U16 players. As Hamura, nice find, Van Acker scores! Absolutely beautiful there. Merrick Van Acker makes it 5-2. Lardis, Hamura, back over to O'Brien. Steps in, fires Kaprowski the save. Big rebound. Kaprowski stopped that one. Lunging out to deny Lardis. All Bulldogs here. This power play. Pouring it on, they score!
With rising puck, re-grab back by Thomas. To the blue line, it will stay in the zone. Power play comes to an end. Either team 0 for 1 so far. Worked in, mid-slot. Opportunity, right in front, they score! Bulldogs strike first. Nearly 9 minutes into this one. And it's a 1-0 game for the visiting team. Top of the right circle, moving its way left wing side. O'Brien nearly with a great opportunity. O'Brien shoves it right wing side. They score. Nick Lardis power play goal. And the Bulldogs are back on top 3-2.
Climb back into it with one shot. And the Otters will look to do that here, but the momentum, you can really feel it with Brantford at the moment.
Worked over right wing side, they score! Nick Lardis, that's 2 in the period, and it's a 4-2 lead for the Brantford Bulldogs. 32 goals on the year for number 16.
O'Brien, cross ice, Van Acker chance, he scores! Merrick Van Acker scores, and the Brantford Bulldogs get on the board. We are tied 1-1 for Van Acker, his 6th goal in his 14th game this season.
Certainly the Brantford Bulldogs happy to have that young man back in the lineup again. First-round pick, late first-round pick last summer by the Chicago Blackhawks. O'Brien with a nice feed. Van Acker takes it on the backhand.
Jake O'Brien on for Cole Brown. To the top on the right side is Lardis. Low, Thomas. Back to the top, Lourdes into the right circle. Save made Nelson, puck pops loose. O'Brien scores. It takes just 23 seconds for the Bulldogs power play to strike. And Jake O'Brien will collect his 21st of the year.
Never know, right? Years later. Here's Brown across. Out in front, back door, they score. Patrick Thomas has tied this game at 4 on the...
Yudacek. Griffin can't get through Yudacek, who spins the puck away. 11 seconds left in the Ritchie penalty. Lourdes forward, over the line onside for Thomas. O'Brien, tic-tac goal! Merrick Van Acker! That was gorgeous! The Delhi, Ontario gives the Bulldogs a 2-goal lead. Brown playing it back to Lourdes. Lourdes to the top of the right circle, low to Thomas. Thomas back to the top, Yudacek steps on, backside O'Brien, they score! A sweeping symphony of a power play goal. That one conducted by Adam Yudacek. And Jake O'Brien gives the Bulldogs a 2-0 lead. Steps through the pile, back for O'Brien out at the top. Wanted it backside to Lourdes, deflected by Zada. Lourdes along the top. He'll carry all the way around the outside. Lourdes back for Thomas. Saved by Flores. Brown scores. 6-0, career high. 6-point night for the captain.
That's going to release Kevin He. There's still going to be 24 seconds left.
He'll have broken the record by then, I think. I think so. Here come the Bulldogs. Breakaway chance here. Scores. Beautiful finish for a 1-0 lead as the Bulldogs capitalize, catching the Storm sleeping a little bit and potting that home nicely is Jake O'Brien, his 24th of the year.
Two-step down the right wing side. Nobody touching him. He takes the pass.
Back behind the goal, being chased there by Testes. Be careful, gives it up. Chance, and they... Looks like it's in. Yes, it's a goal. Van Acker. As Ethan Armstrong lost it right in front of his own
young
goal.
Defenseman, and watch Armstrong tries to walk out in front of it. He ends up paying the price.
It for Lourdes. That pass deflected. Colt's trying to get to it. Puck's loose. O'Brien near side. Decides to go around the net. Passing it to Lourdes. Shot, scores! Nick Lourdes, his 40th of the season.
Good example there. And again, just get it down low, Brian, and who else but Nick Lourdes. Look at this shot. I mean, no.
Against Thomas. It comes loose. Back to the blue line it goes. Mara cross ice pass in front. They score. Thomas parked all alone at the side of the net. Nothing Lalonde could do there, and Brantford takes it 2-0. All right. Mignosa picked up a misconduct. There's a shot, they score! Thomas at the side of the net. And just like that, the Bulldogs take a forward.
Far side now, little drop pass back to Lourdes, and boy, wow, he is quick. He has got incredible hands, number 16. Over to O'Brien, give and go. They'll just do that for the next 5 minutes or so, and now they'll work it into the corner. Lourdes makes it 4. Quick shot. Blockers stop. And for Lourdes, back he goes to Jake O'Brien, and they score again. Make it 9-3.
And into neutral ice. Nick Lourdes, right side, sending it around the back. Bounces past Thomas. O'Brien. Brown to Lourdes. Lourdes waits and fires and scores!
Wow.
It's 49 for 16. Steps on, wanted Lourdes. It went through Brown's skates. Lourdes, great feed back to Hamra. O'Brien, the open man. O'Brien with the look, down low Brown. Walks the goal line, tries to stuff play. Back across Lourdes. He scores! It's history for Nick Lourdes. Skip loose off the wall. Drop is Epperson. Out front, taken away by Lourdes. Patrick Thomas looking to break forward. Could be 3-on-2. Lourdes on the drop. O'Brien, Van Acker make it 4. They score! Tic-tac goal! Merrick Van Acker. He saw 3-on-2, said, what the heck? I'll make it 4. and Merrick Van Acker to the back of the net.
Standings, second in the two conferences here. Here's O'Brien. You got to be keeping an eye on him. Chance in front, loose puck. They'll score, and that is Van Acker in front of the net.
Hamra works middle. His drive deflected wide. Thomas tapping it onto O'Brien. To the blue line is Hamra. Back onto O'Brien from the right side. Brings it low. Thomas with a look out. Back across the front. O'Brien put it on the tee. Tip-tack goal! What a feed from Jacob.
Good instincts, as you noted, Reed, on that intercept that pass.
Brown runs it out to the point. Hamra. Backside O'Brien emerges in the left circle. O'Brien to the front. At Brown. Swept back. Thomas to Brown. And it's into the net. Dealt it across the front. That is a type of hockey of which I know quite well. Hamra to Van Acker. Budnick, left circle. Out front, O'Brien scores! Tommy Budnick on the delivery. Jake O'Brien.
Doherty without his stick, and now it's in behind Owen Flores. So 3-2, Brantford Bulldogs in the lead.
Hamra's shot can't get through.
Not letting that low play across the front that we've seen the Bulldogs use to success of late.
Yep, they'll get the, they'll draw something up a little different, I think, in between periods. Leander's smart play there as Greyhounds had two forwards coming around on the backside of that dump in.
Leanders with a brilliant pass forward. O'Brien on to Lardis. Scores! Ryerson Leanders. Brilliant play coming up the rink. Nick Lardis finishes it off. 57 on the season. It's a rugby scrum. Budnick comes out from it. Mignosa stolen away by Thomas. On to Jake O'Brien for the empty net. He got it! Thomas to Lardis to O'Brien. 14.6 to go.
And the puck is chipped to center. O'Brien is there, 3-on-1. O'Brien, this should be fun. Shot, they score. Going upstairs, Merrick Van Acker, and it's 2-1 Brantford. Hamra with it. Across. Lardis shoots, and he scores. That's number 60 for Nick Lardis. It comes on the power play.
Lardis, left circle over there. O'Brien for Hamra. Back again, O'Brien. In front, deflected, they score. Patrick Thomas got a piece, and it's a 2-1 Dogs lead.
High on the left, now rotates back to a spot on the right. Hamra from the top, plays on to the left side, O'Brien. O'Brien spins away from Partridge. Handles across the front for Thomas, they score!
That whole play was watching Patrick Thomas. He and Cole Brown bracketing in front of the net. You'll see it on the rebound. He's waiting. He's got this.
Of Gavin Bryant. Hamra to the top. Moore dropping it along to O'Brien. O'Brien tosses front. Oh, Patrick Thomas scores! That was downright gorgeous. Jake O'Brien. He had him.
Jack 2-on-1, swept in front, nicely tied up there by Kluche. Great work on the back check. Papineau sprawling. They'll dig at it. I think he stopped O'Brien. Van Acker in front. O'Brien scores. Out of all the chaos at both ends, Jake O'Brien gets the Bulldogs on the scoreboard first. It's 1-0 side. Tries to go back and behind, then looking for the wraparound chance. Great save. Papineau, they bang in the rebound. It's O'Brien right in the blue paint. Van Acker got it into a scoring area. Papineau one save, O'Brien on the tap in, and it's 4-1. O'Brien and Lardis out here on the power play. Lardis has the puck. And O'Brien's gonna carry it in, dished off. Here's Cole Brown, put back in front, looking for Lardis, he scores! It's a power play goal, and Nick Lardis finds his... Budnick, home run pass, reeled in by O'Brien. Now Van Acker 2-on-1 alone. Here's a chance, they score! Second line does it again, Nicholas Rosetto. They get it right back, and it's 7. Van Acker takes it out of danger, and O'Brien from skate to stick. Weaving this one in. Barnes trying to lift the stick. O'Brien taking guys to the net. He scores! O'Brien for the hat trick with Spirit players draped all over him.
As he gets more experience as well, too.
Now here's a strong rush by Van Acker. In behind the goal. Wraparound attempt. A rebound scores. That's Lardis with goal number 71. A 2-1 lead for the Bulldogs.
Here, this is how it starts here. Van Acker goes over the blue line. Going to go all the way around behind the net. and just shovels it towards the goal in the wraparound, and Lardis was able to read and react. He's got a gold standard.
Brown clears it ahead. Nice toe drag. Backhand shot, and that's developing with DeAngelis, the last one back. Lets it go to that side, and they score.
They're just trying to whack the puck. See puck, whack puck. As Hammer over the line. Trip down, Bulldogs have the power play. As O'Brien lays it back to Budnick for a drive. No, they won't! Tommy Budnick! From the blue line, he hit the goal post.
O'Brien, cross for Lardis. Shot along the ice. Pickles there, make that Schenkel, and it's pushed over the goal line. A power play goal.
It back to the line. Protz bangs it off the end wall. Stepping down is Moore. Low is Van Acker. Van Acker swings it to the right corner. O'Brien up front. Rossetto scores! Nicholas Rossetto hops onto the ice. Hammer along the line to Thomas. Thomas right side. Backdoor O'Brien scores! Thomas to O'Brien to the back of the net. 5-1 Bulldogs. You said it, Norm. Somebody's going to be left open, and that time it was Jake O'Brien.
Jake O'Brien, usually provider, and this time he is finisher, and it starts with him along the half wall. Bulldogs really stretched the battalion out on this one. Really the only moment on that.
Back to Hamra walking on. Top of the slot is O'Brien. Scores! Jake O'Brien! Whistles it home. Bulldogs have the 1-0 lead.
To the center of the ice. Really good patience here by the Bulldogs. Maybe frustrating their fans a little bit who are looking for more shots. You see O'Brien just sitting in that little pocket of space. Greer comes out to challenge.
Protz to break up a threatening rush. Here's O'Brien back the other way. Testa sets, fires, he scores!
This is how it starts here. This is O'Brien, 44, nice little 10-foot pass. Testa comes in, he is the off.
Testa twists, he's got Van Acker with him. Testa guides through the middle of the ice, his drive safe. Rebound O'Brien, back out front, scores! Luca Testa! Hamra, half wall, to O'Brien, high on the left. They'll exchange, O'Brien up front, they score! Jake O'Brien tossed it into the crowd. Barlow blocked off by O'Brien. O'Brien will settle the puck for Lardis. In behind Morelli. Lardis pulls up. He got it. The Bulldogs are going to take game one. And they're going to take a 2-0 lead in this series.
Great play there by Jake O'Brien, who just strips Griffin of the
Hammer on him. Just whistled that one out wide of the far post. Half the power play gone by. Another chance, Van Acker, and he fanned on it. Shooting gallery for the Bulldogs as O'Brien picks up the puck. Gives it back to Hammer, a high slot. Stop, rebound, they score! Merrick Van Acker on the doorstep opens the scoring for the Bulldogs.
Protz to the slot for Rossetto. Dice out O'Brien, scores! Jake O'Brien shelves it. Bulldogs take a 1-0 lead with 1:06 left in the first period.
Could be the first goal of the series for Jake O'Brien, his third of the playoffs. And it starts off again, that high cycle for the Bulldogs. They get working here. O'Brien's going to win that loose puck, but the sequence before, Bulldogs with sustained pressure to keep the...
Acker gives to O'Brien for Van Acker, they score! Pretty passing from the Bulldogs. Very similar to the second goal of the Generals, and that's huge for Brantford to get